Hello again, Mercedes fans. So we got another Shadow, and yeah, my first one was a train wreck. It was just my first one that had the worst paint. It had a bunch of weird casting issues. It was just not horrible, but I might end up buying another one of those to give it a second chance, because what I see in this packaging looks normal to me. But that first 500 SEC I reviewed, horrible, horrible. So this is for 14-year-old people and up. It is not licensed. It was an inexpensive model compared to other die-cast cars. And the same problem. I had a hard time getting it out of this cardboard sleeve. I don't know if it has to do with the tape, but I kind of doubt it has to do with the tape. It's just, there you go. It's just the tightest friction sleeve I've ever seen. So it's nice that the packaging tells you what it is. That's the body's code, but it doesn't tell you it's a Mercedes because it's unlicensed. It says 168, so I think that's the overall series, not casting, just this numbered 168 if they're released. So yeah, you're gonna have to take these little tape things off. This is smart tape though. First, it doesn't leave residue. Second, it's easy to take off without tools, so that's pretty good. I don't feel like I want to buy this case though. It's not a standard size case. It's nice that it's small, but it's wasteful. It's just packaging that I have to buy, and I don't want to buy a bunch of plastic boxes. But if that's your thing, I didn't notice this on the last review because I was so distracted by that last model's paint. This is also diecast team, DCT, and look at this lame sticker and stuff like that. So I think this brand should just go to mini GT style packaging. Just this in a cardboard box, right? Don't make people buy garbage, and because that garbage just comes back and pollutes all of us. All right, looking at this here, I'm gonna read some Wikipedia. So this is the E55 AMG version, which came out in 1998 and ran up until 2002. Around 12,000 of these E55s were made. The original E-Class of this W126, was it? No, W210. W210 was designed by Steve Matten. This was the first E-Class that could come with a V6, but the E55 has a V8 of 5.5 liters in that ballpark. And then it would make around 350 horsepower going through a 5-speed auto, although you could get the option of a 4MATIC all-wheel drive. Most of them were rear-wheel drives. And then it rolls 18-inch wheels, these monoblock wheels, and various magazines put it somewhere in the high 4s to 5-second 0 to 60 speed range. So pretty fast for something this big and heavy. Notice here, there's a Mercedes star badge there, so you want to be careful holding this thing and definitely not dropping it. So pleasantly, the paint on this looks normal to me, unlike the first one I reviewed. So this is a nice metallic blue. It's very nice, actually. Alright, going to the wheels though, we have a star in the middle. And then we have the lug nut recesses, and these are passing air. I wonder, I see a ridge there? That's a reflection. For a moment I thought these were 3D printed. Is there a brake system? You know, that silver thing means to me there's a brake, but I might be wrong. But why else would there be a silver thing inside the black wheel? But you're never going to see the brakes through this style of wheel. Alright, so you have this rub strip painted silver very nicely. The door handles have some indents above and below. The window molding, it's raised and recessed in the grooves. Black paint, but for some reason I feel like the black paint stops here. I don't know why it doesn't carry across here. It's weird. Or you know what? The black paint is only here. This is the actual plastic going under the roof. Okay, so that makes sense. So it looks alright, I would say. The mirrors are separate pieces, and they have the little light painted silver there, and I think there could be silver on the back end, yes. Alright, does this thing roll? Hold on. Oh, this rolls a lot better than my first one as well. It's weird though, it literally wobbles side to side, so maybe the tires are lumpy or something, but they all look like they're on correctly. While we're at the bottom, we have a chromed exhaust system and some minor details. I wish they told you what the car was though. MB, everything on the box should be molded into that base. 2 screws if you want to modify or fix problems, so that's nice. It's a plastic base, a lighter model, less shipping cost. I'm cool with that. I actually prefer that. It's nice that the license plate has printing on it, so you know what this is. We do have some texture in the black painted recess here. I think there's some dividers there as well. Yeah, some little dividers. The fog guys are painted silver very well. The rub strips here are silver. The plastic headlights are nicely done. Some sort of gold, and this one looks like it has light bulbs. So very nice. The grill is chromed plastic, but there's some black in the recesses. And it's cool, you have a photo etched Mercedes star, and it's actually upright. My other one had an upside down Mercedes star. I think the tires could be a little bit better in the fact that they don't need to have tread blocks on the side, right? This looks like a rally Mercedes, and this might be causing the wobbling. Not very round, a big dent there. But these weren't expensive models, so you gotta factor that in. This is nicely done. Panel gaps seem okay. Yeah, this is all great actually. What is this though? Maybe some contaminant? Alright, it's too bad. Nice clear taillights, decent color separation of the white and the red. Nice license plate printing. This little bump, I don't know. Oh, I think that's the lock. Okay. The Mercedes star looks good. That looks good. That looks good. The exhaust tips actually have a little bit of a recess, so that's nice. And then, boy, they don't need to have these in my opinion. But if you love defroster lines, this brand will give it to you. It's just that, go look at a real car. You almost never see defroster lines. The only way you see defroster lines is if you go right up to the window looking for them, right? So this is just like a waste of budget. I feel like they could have not wasted money for this and put it somewhere else, like maybe printing a dashboard or something like that would be better served. I will say though, the lines are thin enough you can actually still see into the interior, and it looks like there's a rear view mirror hanging there. Okay, so let's see here. Yeah, we have a Mercedes star on the steering wheel. Nice. Just a flat blank instrument panel. But the middle console, a lot of switches and vent details. The glove box looks good. Ribbing on the seats there look good. The door panels, yeah, they're nicely done. The door pulls. The armrest. Maybe that's the lock button or something. That's a great interior. Yeah, very good. So all in all, this is quite fantastic. The only minor quibble would be maybe the tires weren't perfectly round, and that maybe the tread is a little bit big, but I've seen worse tread blocks from other brands, so it could be better, but it could also be a lot worse. And what's very unexpected for this price range is that Mercedes star, that photo etch piece. It takes material and time to put in. And then I'm just happy this paint job looks normal. I suppose here, yeah, I mean that recess, I don't know if it's just one open vent or there's sort of ribbing maybe or something, but I don't look at the top of Mercedes too often. So I'm actually quite happy about this one. Alright, so a few others. Here's a AMG also. This is by Power64. And so this is a GT63S. I like how they tell you everything you want to know about a model on the bottom of this thing. Who made it, what it is, what scale it is, all that stuff. And you know, I like Power64 because they just use slicks. So when you look at the side of the tire, that looks like a road tire to me, right? I would rather have slicks and no knobbies than knobbies and treads. Anyways, this is a modern car, much bigger, of course. Here's a C-Class, I believe. This is by Tarmac, the C63 AMG Black. So this does have treads, but yeah, I guess the side blocks aren't so bad on this one. What I like about this one is all these graphics are tampo printed. It's not a decal. So very cool. It's a pretty crazy livery. I think this was a real car in real life. Maybe it was like a Cannonball Run car. And then, let's see, Mini GT doesn't care to tell you what things are. This is a silver car. Alright, so we have 3 Mercedes and a silver car. It's yeah, all in all, I gotta say, this is actually pretty nice. Maybe the stance isn't the greatest, and also it wobbles side to side very easily, whereas this one won't. So something about the construction of this thing is a little bit weird. But since you can unscrew it, you can modify it, you can slam it down or whatever, make it really low to the road. But this side, for some reason, is very gappy, and then this side is not, it's less gappy. Darn it, I'm gonna have to open this up. So let's see what goes on the inside of one of these things now. Just gotta be really careful about that badge. You touch that thing, it's gonna bend or even break off. Careful about the badge. Okay. Well, better look at the interior. Wait a second. Where's the seat? This is not the first time this has happened to me. This is missing the driver's seat. So that's a quality problem. Luckily it's on the inside. I mean, I didn't even notice reviewing it under magnification, but that's kind of a concern I would imagine a lot of people would have, like not having the seat. It's melted together. Boy, yeah, I'm gonna just leave it alone. You know what? That badge is actually painted silver. That's unexpected. Yeah, so the construction of this doesn't make sense. It's a weird way of constructing a model. The axles are held in by this. Oh, this is their attempt, I think, of maybe suspension. Or no? I don't know. Maybe not. Because it just bottoms out against the fenders. The fender wells. But I do feel maybe this plastic is why it's riding high. So I'm going to just trim this plastic off so the axles can sit higher, meaning the wheels should sit, the stance should be lower. I guess I don't need this at all because the axles are trapped. They're trapped by these things. So that's just like a waste of plastic. I don't even understand why they would waste plastic on this. I like the exterior of this enough that I decided to take my first garbage one, this 500 SEC, just to look at the contaminants. Look at this paint, it's just crazy. It's so rough. And then there's like a giant blister there, and I think there's a dent here. Anyways, this is now a scrap car. I took the seats out of this. I first dremeled out the bottoms because they're crazy glued. And then I just glued them into this, so I had to trim off a piece and sand it down, but I think it looks alright. And so just painted it gray. And let's just pop that back up in here. Just be careful about that badge on the hood. Is this the 500? Maybe that's for the 500. They're running like the same wheels, so yeah, I think this one belongs here. Alright, so let me screw this back together. I'm now noticing, you know, these plastic things, probably disc brakes, they're making this tire stick outside the fender, so it looks weird. I'm gonna have to probably shave these down. So you might find it difficult to try to get these wheels off because you can't grab the tire because of the fender, whatever, wheel wells, right? So I've made these tools, just an old quickset key. I chamfered it and I put a groove in there so I can get it, jam it in there, and you see it's starting to push it out. So that's how you can get wheels out of tough situations. This one I already started it, but now the key isn't big enough. So it's actually advisable to make two. So once you get the first one in there, right? Sorry, losing focus. Then I'll jam a second one in there to take up the extra slack, and hopefully, there. So those are actual disc brakes, those silver things we were looking at earlier. But, you know, this wheel style is not going to let you appreciate them. But I am going to trim down these things, or I guess I could just leave them out entirely. That might be the simple solution, because you're not going to see them anyways. The question is... Oh, see, no. you still have to shave down this black part if you want it to sit in more. So I'm going to just take this file here and file this thing down. Or, even better, use some sharp hobby clippers. Only like a 1/2 millimeter or millimeter. So if I do that on both sides, I'm sure that's the clearance I need. You don't want to trim off too much because the axle will have nothing to grab onto. But you are going to have to do this on both sides, so I'm going to get some pliers and twist this off. Luckily this is a knurled axle, so it's very easy. The ones with the concentric rings are really difficult to take off. Okay, so that's trimmed. Trimmed. And this one's still in the car. These are really thin axles. Alright. If you want to keep the brakes, it's going to be a lot more difficult because you got to shave. You got to sand down those brakes. I guess it's still easy because it's plastic. Yeah, you could shave those down pretty well, but I am not going to do so. Now another thing you're probably going to have to do is trim the actual steel axle down. We'll see. If I push this in, twist it on, test fit it in here. Yeah, I don't think there's going to be enough plastic. Yeah, it's too much plastic, so you got to get some strong clippers. For me, I like to use these Knipex things that have the numbers 7612 125, and these can cut through 1-inch steel, it seems. Yeah, you want to close your eyes or wear safety glasses when you do that. But this is now smooth, so you might want to put crazy glue on this. But for now, I will put this here. Let's see if it'll just friction fit on. Yeah, that's fine. I don't like rolling models anyway, so they just fall off things. So let me come back after I put this together. Alright, so I think it looks a lot better now. It's slammed, or just more realistic looking, whichever you want to say. Yeah, so I gotta say, for the price, these are pretty good. The fact that the thing has a screwed together base means you can fix it, right? Riveted bases, not a good thing. It's a pain. I guess the only nitpick would be, I don't think they need the defroster lines. It's totally unnecessary. It's just, it looks weird, right? But everything else looks great, so I'm happy that I have this, and hopefully the other ones I've purchased will be just as nice. We'll see you when those reviews come up.